Well, thank you, Olumide. Continuing our focus here, we'll still have Mr. Femi Falana, SAN, taking a look at our fight against corruption. Well, one of the ways that the commissions, I think the AFCC, ICPC, they talk about writing petitions, and we did ask some of them, look, how come you're not going after certain persons? They said, look, nobody has written anything about any of them. Do we have to rely basically on writing petitions for certain things to be done?
Again, I think it's a challenge to Nigerians to take up the challenge. In all the cases of ex-governors, including PDP and APC governors, you'll be surprised. And the volume of petitions written by concerned citizens in those states against their governors. Those petitions were investigated, which led to some of the cases in court. Others have been investigated. So instead of complaining, and I think that is the point just made by Comrade Adam Sushiomale. When we didn't have the EFCC and the ICPC in this country, the media was fighting corruption. In the days of, if you tackle me, I double you. I'm not sure you know what I'm talking about. Under the Gowon regime, all you needed to do was to go to the High Court, usually in Lagos then, file an affidavit that this minister is corrupt, this federal commissioner is corrupt. And from there, the media will feast on it. Until the man was removed, the media will not leave him alone. So there was a case of Dabo who exposed Mr. Joseph Taka, a powerful minister under Gowon. And so it was a case of, if you Dabo me, I Taka you. You know, if you Taka me, I Dabo you. You know, and General Gowon had to remove the minister. So I think the challenge before us now, once the government, and the government doesn't go beyond that, once the government, like Buhari administration has done, once the government has provided an enabling environment for people to expose corruption, and the anti-graft agencies are given the autonomy recognized by law to investigate cases of corruption and prosecute those who are indicted, I think the sky is the limit.
Well, at the moment now, it does appear as though the fight against corruption is huge, bigger than many would think, because one of the arms that need to play, they have a very big role, the judiciary. Now we see this attempt to set up special courts to try corruption cases, and if the headlines are saying nominee judges are failing integrity test, who's going to preside over these cases?
In fairness to the judiciary, there are incorruptible judges in the system. No matter the pressure, there are judges who live by their oath of office.
Do we have enough of them?
I seriously believe so. So it's for the government, in collaboration with the heads of our courts, to identify such judges. That was how the EFCC started. Nigerians have forgotten. At the time the EFCC started, and most of the cases were handled in Lagos, the system identified the likes of Justice Bumoyewole, the likes of Justice Kekereekun, and others. And the system asked them, please go out there and try these cases. And they performed wonderfully well. One of the cases handled during that era gave Nigeria a lot of positive image, where a bank collapsed in Brazil because of what some Nigerians did through advanced fee fraud, otherwise known as 419. They pulled out the entire funds, about $250 million in that bank. The case was tried. Before that case was, charged to court, that company, the bank, Bianco, had recruited lawyers in 11 countries in the world. I was one of them, to help them trace the assets of those who destroyed that bank. But Within a couple of years, the case was tried and concluded here. The funds were recovered, and those who were involved were jailed.
Now, some
in this country. So we can go back to that era. That's the point I'm making.
First
Those
of all,
judges are still there.
Do you think that we need special courts?
Currently, there is a special court we are not using, and that is the Code of Conduct Tribunal. More than regular courts, that tribunal has the power to order the forfeiture of illegally acquired wealth by public officers,
so
and ban them up to 10 years from participating in our public affairs.
So that is one special court. Do we need additional special courts for criminal cases?
I don't think so. I think what we need, because that's going to take some time, what we need for now is the current practice of having special divisions of the regular courts. What we now need to do is to ensure that they are manned by judges who understand what corruption is all about.
Okay, now
the deleterious, effects of corruption.
If we say that that is what we need, quite a number of people are also worried about the time it would take in our regular courts. And people are, I think some of the concerns that have come out is that if we spend so much time talking about corruption, at what point will we be talking about roads, hospitals, things that affect the daily lives of Nigerians? Because you've talked about how much money was recovered over a period of time from the Abacha loot, but quite a number of people cannot pinpoint one thing that loot went into. I mean, how many $billion? 3.1 or 3.2 billion dollars is a lot of money. If this money was channeled to one project and we said this is what we're able to do with that project, perhaps Nigerians will understand the importance of recovering all of these monies. But as it is, it's taken quite a number of years, and we cannot say that this is exactly what the money went into. So there are concerns that it would seem that we're so bothered about this fight against corruption that everything else is on hold.
Again, in fairness to President Jonathan, the law I mentioned earlier has now provided that trials of criminal cases in Nigeria, including corruption cases, cases of terrorism and the rest of them, will now be conducted day by day. Where it is impossible to do that, adjournment will not be more than 14 days in between. For me, this is a revolutionary law. No stay of proceedings, so cases can now be decided within 6 to 12 months.
So what it also means is that it puts the onus on the investigating agencies to do a thorough job.
The duty is much, much higher on the part of prosecution agencies to do a more serious job in not rushing cases to court without proper investigation. Because once the charge is framed and the plea is taken, trial commences and it shall be day by day. So we're making some progress. The other issue, again, that is part of the campaign of those who are saying, slow down on the corruption crusade, anti-corruption crusade. Oh, we are no longer addressing any other issue. Last time I was here, your generators were running 24 hours. There is some improvement now in that area. Nobody is talking about that. The culture of impunity, that you can kill and get away with it, that is being addressed. The image of the country is gradually being restored. Now, we have to look at other areas. And this regime is saying, we need to recover looted wealth because the economy is in a bad shape. To have money for development. So, development is going on. I mean, the government has just said, we're not just about prosecution. We also want to block leakages like the TSA. This business of having numerous accounts all over the place, which accentuated the diversion of public funds. Now we can monitor through one account. And I think this is the progress we're making. But that is not to say that we should not, as citizens, demand attention in other areas.
All right, we'll have to anchor there. Thank you very much indeed, Mr. Femi Falana, SAN, talking to us about the fight against corruption, what we need to do and what has been done previously. We'll be back in just a moment. We'll have another perspective on the same matter, so don't go away yet.